Today we are here, this is December 1st. This is the community of people that gathered on April 22nd to say absolutely no, we do not want to go along with this use of the Reaper drones that are being piloted out of Hancock Airport. We have said that we understand that these drones are illegal under international law, and the verdict is in that they are illegal. We do not go along or wait for any court to declare whether or not we are innocent or not. Our action was not about us. It was about putting the drones on trial, and it was about upholding international law, which states that wars of aggression are illegal. Wars where people are attacked with no due process, where there's extrajudicial killings and violation of sovereignty laws is all against international law. And the United States has signed on to those laws. With our Constitution, Article 6, Section 2, states that all treaties and protocols that we've signed on to are supreme laws of the land. And so we stood on international law. We stood in the law, and we know that we did right whether or not the court agrees with us or not. And now we ask and we hope that Judge Gideon takes the courage to stand with our Constitution and to understand and vote that we were in the right. But we know because Ramsey Clark, the former Attorney General of the United States, came and spoke on behalf of the international law, he also declared in his expert opinion that these drones are illegal. We have to stop the killing, and that's what we were there for that day, and we will continue to go back every week to say that we have to stop the killing at Hancock.
Here, here.
I'm Brian Terrell from Bello, Iowa. Brian, B-R-I-A-N, T-E-R-R-E-L-L, and Malloy is M-A-L-O-Y in Iowa. What happened here last month was really remarkable. Practitioners of civil disobedience and civil resistance often talk about going to court to put the system on trial. But more often the conversation in the courtroom stays on the mundane facts of what happened on the day in question, and don't bring up international law or what's happening in Afghanistan, or don't bring up racial discrimination or whatever the issues are. But in this case, while the DA tried to talk about the disorderly conduct of 38 people on October 22nd, April 22nd, we managed, our defendants and our witnesses managed to talk about larger crimes than disorderly conduct, talk about crimes against peace, crimes of war, violations of treaties. So what happened, and the prosecution also consistently tried to talk about the inconvenience that some people whom he could not name or identify, but a few people may have had to drive 1/8 to 1/4 of a mile out of their way to get into the base on that day, and that this inconvenience was a crime. And I think what we established is that folks like our friend Abdullah, who several of us had met traveling to Afghanistan, people in Afghanistan and Pakistan and Yemen, the people who live in fear of the drones, are being inconvenienced far more than a motorist sitting comfortable in his car driving by Hancock Field. So what's happening today is kind of however it comes is also unique, in that usually when you walk in the doors of a courthouse, you're expecting something pretty boring, pretty predictable. There are not many surprises that come out of these places. And we're walking in without any idea of what's going to happen, and if we're going to walk out in chains or be vindicated by this court. But as Marianne has said, there's what happened here last month was that without any contradictory evidence, it was established. The drones are illegal. American citizens have a responsibility under international law to resist the drones as much as we know about them, and that judges and magistrates are bound by the Nuremberg principles to consider international law when considering cases even as small as ours. And whatever happens too, we can at least commend Judge Gideon, because he listened to issues here. This is probably one of the lowest courts, this township court here in Syracuse. It's probably one of the lowest courts of the land, and he was listening to arguments that have been consistently ignored by the highest courts in the land. So this has been a very and so we've won this case. We've won this case, and we'll find out whether the court agrees with the fact that we won it, but we won it anyway.
Can you speak a little to the resolve of this group from the day that everyone got arrested to now it's being verdict day? I mean, like you said, you guys already feel like you've won. How's the resolve and strength of this group right now?
Well, the resolve and the strength of this group is mainly that we're already, our biggest topic when we got together today really was what are the next steps. This has been encouraging people not only here, but there'll be more protests. There's drone bases around the country. You know, we know that there are more people planning demonstrations, and that our action here has given inspiration and courage to people in other places, and that's another victory for us.
And Judy? Right behind you.
Spell your name for us?
Yes, my name is Judy Bello, B-E-L-L-O, and I'm from Rochester, New York. Well, actually, I'm from Webster, New York, the suburb.
And you're here today with everybody holding the sign, and just talk about what your thoughts have been and how you feel going into today's spirit.
Well, I feel like I too don't know what's going to happen. Since we were last in court, I was actually contacted by the parents of one of these young boys that you can see on the sign. These are two 16-year-old boys who were targeted with drone strikes in the month of October. On the right is Tark Aziz, a Pakistani boy who was on his way home from an anti-drone conference when he and his 12-year-old cousin were killed by a Hellfire missile from a drone. And on the left is Abdul Rahman al-Laki. His father is infamous. However, Abdul Rahman was 16 years old. He was living with his grandparents, and he was not with his father when he was killed. Rather, he was on a cookout with some other teenagers who died with him in his homeland in Yemen. And he's actually an American, but in his grandfather's homeland, visiting the grandparents, and he was again killed by a drone strike, which one has to assume was called in deliberately because his father is infamous. And these are children. Look at them. Look at their pictures. You know, this boy here, Abdullah, he's still alive, but these children, their chances are gone. How many more are there? Is this our idea of warfare? Just picking people out who are in the way of the system and taking them out with such a huge weapon as a drone. You know, that's why I'm here. That's why I will come back, and if wherever I am, I will be resisting the drones and standing up for the rights of the people everywhere in the world to be safe. To be safe in their homes, to be able to allow their children to sit out in the countryside and have a cookout at night. You know, I just am horrified by the real way that these drones are used by our government. And when you say international law, it's dry and abstract. But this is what a violation of international law looks like. These boys are gone.
What's going to happen if a guilty verdict is handed down today for the charges against this one?
Well, interestingly, we have no idea because, they could give us a conditional discharge and send us away, or they could give us like, I don't know, 15 days in jail or a fine of several $100s. And and there are so many of us, and actually the court could technically, they could give each person a different verdict and a different sentence. So it's actually a very interesting thing going in. We're all kind of just sort of on alert, waiting to see, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, we felt like if we call a press conference, this is really something interesting might happen here tonight. Are you prepared to handle what's going to come down? Is everyone here prepared for what might come down at them? Well, I think we are. We feel like we are, and this is we knew since we went to court. I mean, we could have pled out on this charge a long time ago if we had chosen to do so. But we've chosen to face the charges because we feel that this issue, if I spend 15 days in jail, say, hopefully someone will feed my cat, no one will die, but the problem that we're talking about is something that's actually making all of us unsafe. Right now, yes, these young boys are dying in foreign countries, but one of them already is an American citizen. And, none of us is safe when the wars just keep expanding with these sort of easy to maneuver weapons that can go anywhere, anytime.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Harry Murray.
Sun's going down. Yes, indeed.
So we have about 3 minutes more, folks, before we have to go in.
Okay, Harry. Can you say spell your name?
My name's Harry Murray, Harrymurray.
What would you like to say about being here?
I'd just like to say that we view this action as our contribution to trying to really jumpstart a conversation about the drones that desperately needs to happen, that isn't happening in general in the American media. The drones, I think, have been sold to the American public as a way to make American soldiers safe. And what they're doing is introducing a new way of killing into the American arsenal, one which makes the whole world a more dangerous place. I'm sure people have talked already about the way drones have increased the risk of killing innocent people because of relying on remote sensing technology. Drones also, I think, increase the risk of war because they make it so much easier for the president to authorize killing strikes in almost any country that he desires, strikes that may eventually lead to more warfare. They make upstate New York into a war zone because the pilots who are killing people in Iraq from Hancock Air National Guard Base are legitimate war combatants, which means they are legitimate targets if the side that is being killed can get through to here. I think we desperately need, at this stage, when the drones are a relatively new technology, to have international talks that places them in the same category as biological weapons and chemical weapons, to have international agreements now before the drone arms race gets underway on a massive scale to outlaw drones. And to make that a multinational agreement.
So you say Hancock? You say Hancock would become a target for our enemies?
Legally speaking, as I understand legal experts, it already is, because Hancock is an air base which is actively killing people in other countries. And how would it not be a legitimate war target? It's a war zone.